Hello, everyone. My name is Tony. I'm pretty new to MSWA. I'm here 1 year next week. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to say hello to everyone in the room, but also to tell you a little bit about what we do in the marketing function in MSWA. So the title of this is, I suppose, deliberately a little bit provocative. How many of you, I know in my experience, when I say MSWA, what's the first thing people say back to you? Oh, the lottery people. And that's something that for us is we're fortunate to have this successful lottery, but it's also a real challenge. And part of my job is to redress that balance. We are obviously a lot more than a lottery. We are a huge community of amazing people. All of the things you've heard about today, and what MSWA does and our clients and our supporters should be the thing that comes to mind first. So that's kind of why I've said more than a lottery. To tell you what we do run lotteries, but a lot of people don't realize that we run lotteries all across Australia, and we do that for our sister MS organisations. So in Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, Northern Territory, and South Australia, we run lotteries on behalf of our sister MS organisations. The reason we do that is not to make money. We don't make money from that, but what that does is that helps those organizations raise funds to deliver essential services in those places. So we have a lottery team that a lot of people think about MSWA. You've got the Mega Home Lottery, but actually our teams are running lotteries 365 days a year, including Christmas Day, all year to benefit MS organizations across Australia. We also, as many of you might know, we run events and experiences. Just a couple of weeks ago, we had MSWA Step Up event. Travis witnessed me after climbing Perth's tallest building on the steps and looking a little bit like jelly. But we run lots of events that connect with our community and also raise some funds. We work with volunteers right across a whole range of activities. Fundraising, really important part of what we do. I think historically we have really focused on the support of those lotteries, but going forward, we're looking at ways that we can connect with major donors and partners and philanthropy so that we can ultimately, my role is about making sure that MSWA is in a sustainable position for the future so that we can continue to support all of the things you've heard about today. And finally, community. I think this is something that we're really trying to reconnect with. I think it's fair to say, and I'll be really honest, I think in the past, maybe the marketing function was a bit set up to support this big lottery, and that's an important thing, but actually what we really should be doing is connecting with our communities all across WA. So one thing that we have changed actually, and there's someone in this room who actually participated in this, for the first time in our lotteries, we're putting our clients center stage as part of our lottery campaigns, and Nicolette's in the room here, who's waving down the front, who kindly volunteered her star potential to do some lottery campaign for us. And I suppose what this is about us actually saying, yes, we have this lottery, but what is it really for? The reason we do this lottery is so that we can continue to provide services, contribute to research, invest for the future, and continue to do all of these things for, the MSWA is 60 years old. We want to be around for another 60 years and delivering services and support across the community. So you can see lots of our clients and staff appearing in our campaigns, and I think looking at Nicolette, it's fun, right? It's fun to be part of it. It's fun to be part of these kind of stuff. If anyone feels that way inclined, it would not be for me. I would not want to be on TV commercials or out there, but if anyone ever feels like they want to jump in, let us know in the marketing team, and we'd be happy to have you included. I'm saying it's not about lotteries, but actually people love to see a sneak peek of houses. I've learned that actually people love looking at houses in my job. So our next lottery, this is actually our next property, which is just freshly built this week. And we'll just show you, look at this amazing view. So this is in City Beach with panoramic views up and down the coast. So no one has ever seen this. This has just been handed over to us last week. So the next lottery includes City Beach, Margaret River, and Mount Lawley as places to win. So it's pretty attractive, and this one's really, really beautiful. So a lot of people don't realize we actually open these also for clients and staff and others to come and see them. So watch out through communications. If ever you want to come and check one out, everyone likes having a nosy at houses. It's really fun. Next, just some of the other activity that we work with all of our colleagues right across MSWA, but also in regions. It's really important for us to connect with our regional places. So recently we had the first birthday of our Albany facility. We had a big community open day, and some of the researchers in the room came down, and we invited people in to show what the amazing facilities are in Albany. Again, this was fully funded through lots of the fundraising we do in the world, and I'm aware that a lot of people in the room probably won't get a chance to see it, but if you're ever there, call in and see it. It's a really, really beautiful facility that's really making a big positive impact in the community. World MS Day we just had recently. For us, again, people might not think of this as a marketing activity, but for us it's really about connecting to our communities and connecting our clients and our staff and people in the world. So World MS Day this year, we trialed a new thing where we had a paint and sip morning where we invited all of our clients in to sit down with staff and get an art tutor who ran through a class, and we had morning tea and drinks, and really it was about, the whole theme was around connection. And for us, this is really at the heart of what we should be doing in our marketing. So watch this space for next year and get on board, because hopefully it will be even bigger and better. Step Up, I just mentioned just last week. This was pretty amazing because as I said, I'm pretty new in the job, and it was the first one I went to. And we had 870 people on a really wet, wintry Perth morning, climbing endless steps up Perth's tallest building to raise money and raise awareness for MSWA. And for me, it was really amazing actually just to see how much people in the world really care about making a difference to people with neurological conditions. So it was 49 flights of stairs, and we had one amazing supporter who did that 21 times in a row. So 1,000 flights of stairs. It's crazy. I did one, and I nearly ended me. So, but ultimately, these events, they do raise money for us, but actually, more importantly, it's about community connection, and it's about just the feeling on these days. So even if you ever have a chance to go along, even if you can't do the Step Up, if you can't do the physical stuff, just to be there is an amazing experience. One coming up is one of our big events is Ocean Ride. And I think a few people know Horst is a keen cyclist. He did one of the long rides. We have a whole range of rides from very short family rides to 147 kilometer rides. I think Nikki signed up for the 147 club. Yeah, on an electric bike. Yeah. Again, this for us, more than $400,000 is raised, but again, it's about community, it's about people. So even if you're not don't fancy doing the ride, there's an amazing hub at Hillary's where thousands of people come together, and it's just a really amazing buzz. So that's one of our key events. We also have events in places like Albany too. We've got the Albany Ride, the Albany Swim. And we're open to community events in any place. So if you've got any forming ideas, let us know, and we'll be happy to support you. And part of my job is also staying in touch with our clients and with our partners and with our researchers. And these are just some of the examples of the things we do. I think everybody gets and receives bulletin, and there's other ways to get information too, through online, through newsletters. Our team is actually working on this to actually look at, are there better ways that we can communicate with our clients? Are there different things we can do? Is there more? And we just recently established a client co-design committee. I think there's a member here, just in the middle, a client co-design committee, which was, we went out to open applications for people to join that. And really, that committee is about listening to real lived experience and our clients telling us what we can do differently, what we can do better. So I think watch this space for maybe new ways of communicating with people, and we're always keen to hear your feedback also. And I think today, Horst mentioned there's a real refocus on research, and I think we just hear today, it's a pretty tough act to follow some of the amazing experts in the room today. We work closely with Mitchell and Travis and Moira and Jenny, and for me that's actually one of the most amazing parts of the job. Is you're just learning so much every day, and for us I think we can do a better job at communicating some of that and being the, I'm a generalist, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a researcher, but part of our job is trying to translate some of this stuff for other people. So that's something I think we can do a lot better at. We are, Travis mentioned also, we're world experts. We are right at the leading edge in the world here. And the funding that MSWA provides is the most funding that any organization provides in Australia. So I think we need to shout about that a lot more, and we need to communicate it a lot more. So hopefully we'll be telling you some more interesting things around research. This is just the tip of the iceberg today. There's so much more going on in the world, and hopefully you'll hear about it through these communications. And just finally, I wouldn't be the marketing guy without plugging something. We are really keen, as I said, to listen to clients and hear your genuine feedback. So most of you should have been communicated a survey that's out there in the world at the minute, and that's really about getting feedback from our clients about the services you provide, what we can do differently, a whole range of things. It closes next Friday, so if you have a chance to look at your emails, please revisit those. If not, some of my colleagues at the back, Marianne, who's waving with the white jacket, and Deborah, they can put you in touch. It's really important for us, and it genuinely is a way for you to contribute to the future planning of MSWA. So I would encourage you to jump on board and do that. But that is me. I think we were a little bit over time, so hopefully that brings us back on time. But thank you very much, and if anyone has any questions, feel free to shout.
So, in the upcoming AGM, there's going to be a ballot on members to decide whether or not to move to a commercial entity rather than a not-for-profit. Will we still have a role for you if we go to a not-for-profit?
That was actually, that event you spoke was last week, actually, the special general meeting, and those resolutions were passed. So basically what that meant was we moved to an entity type, but primarily, and I think if Horst could maybe jump in if I get any of this wrong, primarily that was about governance. And really what happened was MSWA started off as a really small society with 6 or 7 people, and it was about community groups. And we had a constitution that was 60 years old, and we grew to be this huge organization, and in time that constitution didn't change, and that meant some really tricky things, around insurance, around governance, some really practical things that just were difficult to achieve. So that change in status was about actually strengthening up the governance and ensuring that our members had a strong voice in the governance of MSWA. But I'm going to pass to Horst to add.
And when you mention not-for-profit, MSWA will still be a charity and have its not-for-profit charity status. It's just basically to be under the Associations Act and the requirements of that and the Constitution, as Tony said, it was just very difficult for board and management to work towards achieving the outcomes that it wants to achieve. So in terms of how does it impact clients, it doesn't impact clients at all, it doesn't impact services. It just clarified, because when the NDIS came on board, it confused the whole thing about what is a member, because 10 years ago, or 15 years ago when I first joined the board, a member was someone that paid $20 and got some services, and under the NDIS that sort of changed to a more of a client-based relationship. Having said that, there are still some services that will be provided that aren't funded by the NDIS, and we just like clarifying what that will be. I think someone mentioned about, they get funding from the DVA, but it's not enough that we're going to identify. So MSWA does have the capacity to fund services that aren't funded by the NDIS. We're just going through the process of identifying what that is. So yeah, it was purely a governance thing, and nobody should be alarmed by it.
And I think your question is a really good one. Fundamentally, at the core, we are still and always will be a not-for-profit. There's still a charity. It's just the status has changed that gives us some tighter legal governance to make sure that at the scale we operate at, that we have the proper governance in place. But it's a good question. We're a not-for-profit and will always be.
Just to let everybody know that what NDIS finishes at 65. If you're over 65 It's a different system. So
Yeah.
people must remember that. It seems to me that NDIS seems to have taken over. But that's not right, because there's a lot of people over 65 that have MS, neurological conditions, and so it's a different system. So I think that should be brought in as much as NDIS. We're not all over 65.
Yeah.
So you must remember that.
I might ask Nikki. Nikki's probably the best expert to respond to that comment. But
100% agree with you, and it's absolutely spot on. And we are constantly talking about the over 65s who are discriminated against because of their age, and even though they still have the disability condition. So we're actually doing a lot of work at the moment, talking to ministers and trying to work out where this is, what's the plan going forward for the over 65. So I just agree with you. It's just unfair, and it's not right, and it's something we are advocating for.
You've got to stay the age you are.
Cool, yeah. So yes, we are certainly a voice on it.
Not quite segues, but like you mentioned, like 10 years ago, or 11 years ago, 15 years ago, when it was MS Society. So it's not really a question here, it's more a question here. Because it's great that we're doing the funds toward research, because that's basically we all want research. But there used to be, and I don't know if COVID maybe got in the way, but you'd have newly diagnosed things and these little sort of workshops that weren't around NDIS or anything else, it was just around people living with a condition. Are we going to see more of that coming back, or are we just sort of, oh, we don't need NDIS?
Yeah, so there's lots of things that we touch on here, but we don't have time. But one of the things is that we've just developed a strategic plan for the next 5 years, and it's about getting back to purpose. And I think you're right, and I'll say this as a board director that MSWA it grew quickly, it grew a lot very quickly, and we maybe lost some of the purpose that we were here for. So we're looking at going back to purpose and looking back at communicating more with clients and saying what is it that you want rather than we deliver the services that we think you want. So yeah, we'll be doing a lot more around purpose.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, because it's taking a client out of the subject matter.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about people who are recently diagnosed, and those sorts of people aren't clients themselves.
Yeah, I consider that as a possible client, but yes. So there are things that we will be doing. We haven't done, and there were a few reasons. One was COVID and reconsolidating. But things like a newly diagnosed seminar is an important part of what we do, and there isn't any funding for it, but it's something that MSWA will do together with other things and also other information. Yeah.
We still do peer support groups, educational groups, newly diagnosed groups. Yeah, so and I think what we're not doing probably is referring to what Tony said, is actually communicating maybe what's out there. So and getting back into that communication, making sure that people are aware of what's happening. So, yeah.